Would you believe me if I told you I made these 4 different blouses from the same set of rectangles? If you see my last 2 videos and you're tired of seeing me turn rectangles into clothes, then I'm sorry. But if you're not, then keep watching. I have 4 different fabrics because I'm going to make in 4 different blouses, and I cut them all 23.5 inches by 16 inches with the exception of this one because this was a curtain and it already had a hem. I'm going to turn all these into beautiful blouse. The first top I'm going to be making today is going to be inspired by this sheet-end top. The sleeves are super cute. The ruffles at the shoulders of the sleeves and top of the blouse are super cute, and I'm excited to make this one. I'm going to start by pressing over the top edge a 1/4 inch and then folding it over again an inch and pressing and pinning it. And then I'm going to stitch that in place. And then I went and sewed a second line of stitching right above that, wide enough to create a elastic casing here. I want to add another elastic casing a little bit lower, right under where the bust is going to sit. So I'm going to measure 6 inches up from the bottom, and I'm going to add my strip of bias tape. I'm going to open up my double fold bias tape like this, and I'm going to sew it on. And before I go and feed my elastic in there, I need to create my armpit curve. So I'm just going to fold this in half, measure 3 inches across the top, and I'm going to measure 4 inches down. I'm going to draw a curve connecting the 2 marks. And then I'm going to cut this out and I will have my armpit curve, and I'm going to do this with every top I make today. I'm going to back tack the elastic in place, sewing back and forth over it. And I did the same process with the back, so now I can put these together, right sides facing, and sew the sides together. I didn't even finish one top yesterday. This is how far we made it with our first top, and now we're ready to attach sleeves. For all the sleeves of every blouse I'm making today, I just measured around my armhole like this, very loosely, because I want to have space and be able to move. And I got 23 inches. I'm going to add 1/2 inch for seam allowance. Here is the length I cut for the first top, and this is going to be my longest sleeve. It's the width that I told you all my sleeves are going to be by the length of the measurement from my shoulder all the way down to my hand. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is fold over the top edge a 1/4 inch and then fold it over again an inch, the same exact way I did for the front and back top, and I'm going to create my elastic case in the same exact way I did here. I'm going to fold this in half. I'm just going to go and take this piece I cut from the front when I cut that armpit curve, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm just going to go and cut this armpit curve here. I'm going to do 2 more rows of elastic, one up at the top and one at the wrist of the sleeve. So I'm just going to measure my elastic around my arm and cut it to size, and around my wrist and cut that to size as well. And I'm just going to go and sew the sides of the sleeve together. It's time to attach this to the top. I'm going to put these right sides facing, and this curve here is going to be lined up with this curve here. I'm just going to sew the 2 together, and I'm going to finish that raw edge with my serger. How cute is this top? And you might ask, if these are summer blouse, then why a long sleeve top? But this fabric is just so lightweight and airy, and it just feels so light on me. So I think it's just perfect for summer. I am going to go and shorten it, and then I'm going to hem the sleeves with a double fold hem, and I'm going to hem the bottom of my top with a double fold hem. And now top 1 is complete. It's super cute and I love the little ruffle detail here. I feel like this is such a minimum effort sewing project, and yet it's so super cute. For the second top, I'm going for a defined waist look. I love the little flare at the bottom of the sleeve, so I want to incorporate that too. I'm going to start by folding over the top edge 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to fold it over again to create an elastic casing for this elastic. Once I have that completely pressed down, I'm going to go and stitch this fold in place. And again, I'm doing this for the front and back of my blouse. I want to add 2 more rows of elastic, so I'm going to hold this against me like this where the top's gonna sit, and I'm going to measure from the top to right below my bust so I can know where to add my elastic casing. And then I'm probably going to add the second one 2 to 3 inches under that. Now I'm going to go and feed the elastic into my casing, and I'm going to sew the front to the back at the sides. A quick little try on to make sure I like how snug the elastic is, and you should do that with no shirt underneath, obviously. For the sleeves for this project, the width is the same, but the length of my sleeve is going to be shorter. As you can see, I'm going to go and create the elastic casing for the top edge of my sleeve the same exact way I did it for the top, front, and back of my blouse. I'm going to add a strip of bias tape to create another elastic casing on my sleeve. How cute is this sleeve? So pretty. So I'm going to go and hem the bottom edge with a double fold hem, and then I'm going to attach this to my blouse the same exact way I attached the last sleeve to the last blouse, matching up the armpit curve with the armpit curve. And then I decided to sew a stitch down the center of the elastic, stretching the elastic as I sewed along the shoulders and front and back top edge to give me this cute effect. I also thought another row of elastic between the two here would look better, but since everything was so bunched from the elastic, it would be a challenge to sew another strip of bias tape between them. So I just zigzag stitched my elastic directly onto the fabric, stretching the elastic as I sewed. And now with blouse 2 complete, let's get on to making blouse 3. Now for this third blouse, I want this top to be super simple. Here's the inspo for this one, and this is going to be the easiest one yet. I'm going to add my elastic casing at the top edge of both the front and back and cut out my armhole curves. I went and I stitched my elastic in there, and I like that look of the stitching line going through the center of the elastic that I did on the last top. That I went and I did the same thing here. I just stretched it and stitched that line of stitching right down the center. And now I'm going to go and put these right sides together, and I'm going to stitch them together along either side. I'm going to be creating an elastic casing at the bottom edge of my top, and I'm going to be using this 2-inch wide elastic for that. So I already pressed up the bottom edge 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to turn it over and press it up and make sure there's enough space to fit this elastic. This is how we're looking after the elastic is sewn into the hem of my top, and I just went and stretched the elastic at the bottom and sewed 2 stitches across the elastic to give it this effect, and I love it. I think it's so cute. And the very last step for this top is to add the sleeves. My sleeves are on, and the last step is to finish the hem of the sleeve. And I'm going to put elastic into the hem of the sleeve. So I'm just going to fold that down 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to do another fold, and like always, make sure it's wide enough for my elastic. Here's the result of blouse number 3. I said it was going to be the simplest, and it was, and I think it's so cute, and I am so excited to wear this top this summer. It's probably the more comfortable top out of all of them because this fabric is just so soft, and I love the shade of blue. And now that blouse 3 is complete, it's time to get on to blouse number 4, the final and last blouse we're making today. Now here's the inspo for blouse number 4. I'm going for a shirred look, only I won't be shirring because the weight of my fabric is just a little too heavy. Since I didn't need to hem the top edge, since the edge was already hemmed, I just cut out my armholes, and then I added 6 rows of bias tape and added my elastic in there. I personally don't mind what color the bias tape is because it's on the inside, so I'm just using whatever I have on hand. But if you do, feel free to make your own bias tape or buy some pre-made bias tape in a matching color. Once I sewed my elastic in, I sewed the sides of my front and back together. It's fitting a little tight, to be honest, but it's probably because I have this sweater on underneath. But now that I have the front sewed to the back, I'm going to go and add sleeves to this top, and I'm going to hem the bottom edge, and I'm going to add the sleeves the same exact way I added them to the floral top. Only I wasn't really feeling the longer sleeves, so I decided to make this sleeve shorter. And here's the results of the final top. I did end up making it a bit too tight because I cut my strips of elastic a little too short, and it feels like a very tight corset. But to fix that, all I need to do is cut longer strips of elastic and feed them through here, and then it will be fitting perfect. Other than that, I think it's super cute, and I'm very happy with the decision to shorten the sleeves. I love these cute little poofy sleeves. But yeah, that's the final project. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video.